Ready?
Ready.
Ready. Welcome back to table 49. Today we're going to do a butternut squash and sage ravioli with a brown butter garlic sauce. Let's do it. The ingredients are listed below, all your quantities and all that. We're gonna start. I've cut up a squash, some onions, and we're gonna roast these in a 400-degree oven until they get nice and golden and brown. Let's top it with some olive oil. Just all the olive oil. Pepper. Pepper. That's a reference from When Harry Met Sally, but nobody will know that. Salt. A nice thick salt, because then you bite into it and it's so fun. I really get a lot of kicks in my life. And we're gonna do whole garlic, because at the end we're actually gonna put this in a food processor. So if you have nice roasted garlic, it's gonna be much more gentle than burnt garlic, obviously. And then give that a little shake. Okay. Actually, let's add some herbs to this. Just gonna give these a rough chop. Is it rolling? You don't have to be intricate with this, because again, they're going into a food processor after. And one more shake. I'm using a cast iron griddle because these can get super hot, but you can just use a cookie sheet as well. Whenever you're roasting vegetables, you want to give them space. There's a lot of vegetables here, but we'll just try to do that. Otherwise, they steam. They don't roast, they don't get crispy. They'll just get mushy. Play with it a little so it's evenly dispersed. So scientific. The good thing about this recipe too is that you can do everything at once. There's no waiting for anything to be done, because while we're waiting for this, we're gonna make our pasta and then everything's ready to go at the same time. Into the oven. I'm always so conscious of you filming my butt, so I don't know how to put it in.
Sorry.
Like I can't, like you're gonna just get a butt shot. Coffee break. How cool would it be to have a mini cow and walk it down the street as like a dog? I want a mini cow. Pasta is super easy to do, and it actually does make a difference if you're making it at home. Also, it's just fun and messy. So you need a scale, and what you're gonna do is per 100 grams of flour, 1 egg. That's it, that's all you need. It's so cheap. So we put it in a bowl to keep it together, make that a 0. Look like you're mixing like a narco kind of scene. Perfect, whatever, 102. Okay, onto a clean surface. If you don't have a stone countertop, I'd recommend getting a piece of stone that you can just keep on the side. It does make a huge difference if you're doing any type of pastry or dough, because it's so much more cool than any other type of countertop. We're gonna make a well. You wanna zoom in on this?
Mm-hmm.
Room temperature egg, as always. Right in there. What you're gonna do is slowly whisk this egg, just the egg, not adding any flour if you can, until it's like a scrambled egg, nice and pale yellow. So here we go. This is where I could tell a lot of dad jokes. What did the dad buffalo say to his son on the first day of school?
I don't know.
You don't know? Bye, son. One time I put a leak in the bathroom on the toilet, and I went, Dad, we have a leak in the house. This is when I was a kid. And he's like, what? There's a leak in the bathroom. But it was like the vegetable. God, I'm good. Okay, so that's what you want it to look like, basically. A nice pale yellow. no yolk or egg white in there. Now we're going to gradually grab from the sides of your little volcano. And you can do this by like putting your hand around it and just kind of tapping in if you're nervous, which people tend to get nervous. That's just life. Do this in a bowl too if you want to keep it clean. But what's the fun in that? When it gets to the point where it's like this glob, like this, like you can pick it up with your fork, we're gonna start doing it with our hands. We're going to not do it, we're going to knead with our hands. So what we're gonna do, clean hands. It's best to just do this with one so your other is ready to rumble for other things. I don't know what that is, but you're just gonna kind of add flour gently. I feel like this is a very calm episode. Also, how funny does this look? Just a claw. Okay. Now, when it's like not super sticky, this is when we knead. Remove your jewelry. If you have any dry bits on your hand, this is why you have your clean hand, wipe that off because you don't want any crusties in here. But I have a clean hand, so it doesn't matter. And we're gonna knead until it gets like an elastic kind of consistency. Folding, pushing, pulling, pushing, folding, folding. So what we're doing by kneading, whenever you're kneading, you're building up gluten. You let it rest so the gluten can kind of develop. You need gluten so that it doesn't just fall apart. That's why gluten-free bread is so hard to do. This is the end result after, how many minutes would you say that was?
Probably 10 to 12.
10 to 12 minutes?
I would say like, maybe not. 8 to 10.
8 to 10, kneading. So when I touch it, it's not sticky, it's not gooping on my hand, and it has a bit of a bounce back. Okay? Now what I do is just make it into a nice little ball, put a little flour on the outside because it will moisten up. We're gonna cover that with some saran and let it sit for preferably 30 minutes, but we're gonna let it sit for shorter than that because we have stuff to do. Then you can put 30 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is a cool thing. One of my new favorite things. Very environmentally friendly. Made on Vancouver Island. It's called a Bigo. It's a replacement for saran wrap. So, because it's made from beeswax, it has a stick to it. You put your thing in there. Et voila. And it naturally breathes. So you're not gonna get gushy avocados and stuff. It's fantastic, washable, and it lasts a year. I'm not being sponsored by them. I just love what they're doing.
Rolling.
Oh, whoops. Okay, so we've got our pasta here. It's been not 30 minutes, or has it been?
What?
30 minutes later. We already told you that, so it is 30 minutes later. Okay, so you can see it's pretty similar. It's a little bit more moist. If you touch it, bounces back nicely. Handy dandy dough scraper. Best tool in the kitchen, well, one of them. Microplane. And we're gonna cut that in half. So we're doing half at a time. Okay, well that was a little bit less than half, so that sucks, but there we go. Cover one half up that you're not using. This one, we're gonna go to our handy dandy pasta roller. You can do this by hand, it takes a little bit more finesse. So I would suggest getting a pasta roller. Okay, shape it into like a little log. And this way. Just flour your area and a little bit extra on your dough so nothing sticks. We're on our largest setting. So on this one it's a 7, but on most, if you're using a Mercato, which is the original, the OG pasta roller, it's a 1. So we start rolling. Which way? This way. This is a great thing to do with 2 people. Jordan's gonna make his girlfriend this for Valentine's. We put it through once, like so. Then we're gonna fold it in on itself. Then we're gonna put it in this way. A little bit more flour. And one more time on that same largest setting. Look at that. We're gonna go down by 1. We're gonna go this way. Down by one more. A little bit more flour. We're gonna keep going down by one until we get down to the almost thinnest setting, which is gonna be a 2. One more. Can we do it? This is why it's so good to have someone. Doing this with one person is tricky. I've done it a fair amount of time, so it's a little, let's see what happens. La la, la la la. So we've got our scarf of pasta on a floured surface. We're gonna fold it in half to find out where we're going to cut it with some great handy dandy kitchen shears. Make sure everything's floured again. Nice and floured. Okay, there we go. We've got our makings for ravioli. Let's blend up our squash. Our squash is almost done, so I'm going to start adding things to your food processor so that we can make our filling. I'm going to dice a chili. I just dried them. Remember, always dry your own chilies. It's such a waste of money to buy pre-dried chilies. They don't have the spice or the flavor, and they're like $8 a bottle, whereas these are like 99 cents for a package. Okay, I've got some ricotta here. It's really easy to hand make ricotta, but that's for another day. This is just a nice soft cheese with a light flavor. Makes for really good fillings or dessert with honey and some fruit. To that, I'm also going to put some Parmesan. So just a bit of this. We're going to be topping it with this as well, so you don't have to go crazy with the parm. Just gives it a nice little melty texture. And then what's next, Jordan? What always comes next?
The lemon zest.
Hey!
I'm getting good at this.
You're like a cook. Do you want anything else in there? Yeah. Some balsamic reduction. You can make this again just by boiling down balsamic and adding any flavors you want. A little bit of sugar in there. Nona pias. This is what most people have. This is just a classic reduction. It's pretty good. You can get it at Costco, I think, in a giant bottle. I use it for a lot of things. It's like a little syrup. Just a little bit. Okay, let's check these out. If you can do this, it's done. Oh yeah. Okay, we have to let these cool just for a little bit so we can handle them. If you want to do that more quickly, we're going to put them onto a different tray, which we're going to do. Put the squash, some roasted onions, the garlic, and some herbs in there from the pan. Still got some left over. It's a pretty large butternut squash. You can use that throughout the week for different things. Makes really good sandwiches. So if you make a panini, you can put some squished squash in it, squish squash, and some cheese. Okay, pulse it until it's smooth. Let's give it a taste. Fuck yeah. Mmm. Oh, the chili. Whoops. Okay. You don't want to leave this out too long because it will dry out, but we're still good. Nice, nice. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna space it out kind of nicely here. You know when you can't find words for things, you just start saying things? Mm-hmm. It's my life. So you can use a piping bag for this. I don't know, why make the mess? Spoon and finger, the original tools. Okay, this is the tricky part. bring this little buddy over. This is when you discover if it's spaced out too much, too little. Okay, this guy on the end is very tiny. What I like to do is just press it down a bit. This is why you don't want your pasta to be too dry. You can always add some water to the sides of it if it's being a little whatever. Get rid of all the air pockets between the outside and the stuffing in the inner bit. You can also get a ravioli press, but we're doing this all by hand because we're phenomenal. I have a round cookie cutter because I can't find my ravioli cutter. She would just kind of, could use a pizza cutter for that too. We're gonna be fancy and use a cookie cutter. Down she goes, up she comes. Just make sure it's still closed. This is when you can see if you pressed hard enough. Ooh, we're gonna have to move quickly. It's sticking to the counter, which is fine. Okay, if it's starting to stick, get your handy dandy scraper. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty, right?
Very.
Just a little jewel. Brown butter sauce. Great option, very simple for any pasta. That doesn't have to be this beautiful ravioli. We're gonna take some garlic, I think. No onions, we've got a lot of onions going on. Ooh, we'll do another chili though. I do like where that's going. Lemon zest? Oh, yeah, you're nodding. Jordan's nodding. You can't see it. The man behind the camera. And of course, sage. Natural to Kelowna. You can go pick this in the forest. I didn't. I picked it in the grocery market. Okay, let's chop. Butter, that's about 1/4 cup. We've got our garlic here. We'll add that next. We do want that to brown up a bit. So in a lot of the videos I've done, I've said don't brown your butter. Today, we want a nice brown. Which happens quite quickly, so don't worry about it. In the meantime, let's get those out of there. I think Gordon Ramsay says it should take 90 seconds for fresh pasta to cook.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put a little olive oil in there so that they don't, of course, stick anymore. Good. Butter cooking away. Turn this off. This is where things really pick up. What we can actually do is just put these buddies. Garlic cooks really quickly as well. A bit more sage. Our chili, we'll just do a little bit. Ooh, watch your camera lens. Just let it cook down for a little bit. Get a bowl ready. The last thing we're gonna add to that, because we've already toasted them, are pine nuts. Just get them in there a little bit. We'll top it with it as well, but I'm gonna have to clean up this oven after. Okay, so we've got it on a plate here. Let's put some more Parmesan on there because that's never a bad thing. Good. I'm going to put a little bit more lemon zest, of course. Good. Let's put some pepper and some salt. Always good. And then to top it off, look how pretty. One broken, one full. Okay, let's cut into one of these. There's nothing more comforting than pasta, honestly. The great thing is the ratio between cheese and vegetable so that it doesn't just ooze out too much. You want it to be a bit solid, and we did that. Okay, here we go. I mean, like, I'm never gonna say I'm cooking anything bad, but this is fantastic. But I say, like, I think I say that every week. Do I?
Yeah.
But it is fantastic. And it's so easy. It is. Don't be scared about pasta. Don't be scared about filling the pasta. Just do it. This is delicious. Also, you could put some prawns on this. Make it a full meal. It'd be delicious. Just a quick sear. I'm stuttering now because I'm just like in heaven. Sear your prawns, throw them on this, would be so good. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Find the links below, ingredients below. I'm very excited for what's to come. Thanks again.